The town I live in is quiet, pleasant, and a little strange.
Are you sure?
I grew up here, surrounded by calm
what to do.
streets and neighbors who waved
The subtle
politely.
shifts in the twilight
Yet I always
outside
dreamed of
had begun
leaving.
to mirror
I
an
longed for the
internal
city,
disquiet.
for noise and lights and chaos, for something more alive than the steady silence of this place. I lived with my parents and my twin
Must never go
sister.
downstairs after
Both of my
midnight.
parents were
Never.
underpaid teachers, hardworking and practical. We were raised modestly, taught to be
the worst
grateful, to
part.
save, to never expect more than what we earned. Still, they must have saved for years, because the house we moved into when I was a teenager was surprisingly large. 2 stories, narrow stairs,
We have a very
long
strange
halls,
rule in our family.
big windows that looked out into a backyard far too empty. Our neighborhood was considered respectable. I once looked up the prices of nearby homes online and could only whisper, wow. Among all the rules and values my parents repeated, one was absolute. After midnight, if you go downstairs, you cannot go alone. They reminded us at dinner, before school, before bed. If they ever heard footsteps late at
Go
night,
downstairs for
one
me.
of
Go
them would get out
downstairs
of
now,
bed to
please.
accompany us, no matter how tired they were. This was strange, because we rarely had any reason to go downstairs. Our bedrooms, the main living room, and the
We have to find a
kitchen
way
were
out
all
of here now.
upstairs. The lower floor had only a small kitchen, a storage area, and a game room. There was no need for anyone to be down there at night. Dot, my sister, and I
I
sometimes
just want to
asked
get down
why.
those stairs.
What would happen if we broke the rule? Our parents always dodged the question. They would smile and say, "You'll understand when you're older, sweetheart." The older I became, the more the rule pressed on me. Why should all of us crowd into the upper floor of such a large house? Why fear the floor below?
Is someone
Shortly
there?
after my 20th birthday, I decided to test it. Mom, I said, I left my laptop in the game room. I need it for an essay due tomorrow. She frowned, asked why I couldn't just wake early, why I'd waited until
Where's
so
my
late.
laptop?
I invented excuses. I misread the deadline. I couldn't sleep unless it was done. At last, reluctantly, she agreed. We descended the
The
narrow
house always
staircase
felt
together.
empty.
At the
Even
door
when
to
we
the
were
lower
both
floor, she paused. Her hand on the knob, she looked at me, listened carefully. He may cling to me. Do not let me open the back door. Stay close. If you have to, pull me away. I thought she was joking. The door opened, and the air downstairs was colder than I expected. The small living room sat in darkness, the side kitchen silent. A hallway stretched toward the game room. I turned that way immediately, keeping up the charade about my forgotten laptop. But when I glanced back, my mother was not following Dot. She stood frozen, trembling, her gaze fixed on the large kitchen window. The curtain was pulled back, revealing the empty backyard, or what should have been empty. I saw him then, pressed against the glass, face obscured by shadow, but his eyes were too wide. Wider than human, white and gleaming, staring in with a focus that felt hungry. Excited Dot, my mother, began to walk toward the back door, as though pulled by invisible strings. Step by step closer, I rushed forward and grabbed her hand. She shivered, gasped, and for long moments she seemed caught in a trance. Then she blinked and snapped free, stumbling backward toward me. What the hell is that?
Is
I
everything
cried.
all right, dear?
Did you get your laptop? She answered, voice trembling. Mom. Outside the window. What is that? Her expression was a mixture of fear and irritation.
Get out!
Finally, she said, talking about him too much invites him closer. As long as we go downstairs in pairs, we are safe. No one has ever let him in. She dragged me back upstairs, refusing to answer another word. When I tried to ask my father, he was worse. He brushed me off, muttering only, "We just want you to have a peaceful education," before walking away. His words felt like curtains drawn tight, hiding something I wasn't meant to know. 2 years passed. We obeyed the rule. Never alone after midnight. Never open the back door. Nights passed quietly, with only the rattling of curtains in the wind. I tried to convince myself it was nothing more than superstition. I suggested moving. My parents refused.
We have to
That's
go.
not how it works, love. Or, as long as we are safe after midnight, we'll be fine. Their answers made me feel like a guest in my own home. This week, my parents left town to visit relatives. My sister stayed overnight at her best friend's. For the first time, I was alone in the house. At 10 minutes past midnight, I finally checked my phone. My sister had sent a text 4 hours earlier. "Hey, I might have left the downstairs door open. Please close it when you can." The air around me turned cold. Maybe she remembered wrong. Maybe it was closed. I laughed nervously and crawled into my closet. It had been my fortress as a child, the place I hid from nightmares. Inside, every sound was louder. The ticking of the clock, the groaning of the stairs, the fabric brushing against my cheek. Long, slow creaks echoed through the wood like yawns, or like footsteps carefully testing each board. I told myself to keep writing, to focus on words, to anchor my mind. But my body betrayed me. My hands shook, my shoulders trembled, and a strange urge grew stronger to step out of hiding, to let him find me. Memories flooded back. The long scratch I had seen on the kitchen window frame when we moved in. Dad saying it was nothing. The neighborhood cats that clawed at the glass our first night. The heavy black curtains Mom had hung, never covering the window completely, leaving a strip bare at eye level. The ring of keys I once saw in her hands, one long and thin, like for an old chest.
I think
She called it a spare. That night, I heard metal turning in a lock below. Then silence,
Oh, no.
a faint thud came from downstairs. My phone screen glowed, 12:17. I thought I saw a shadow shift through the closet crack. Perhaps only coats. Yet every nerve screamed. Someone was standing in the hallway, not a neighbor, not police. No one else could be here. Then maybe him. I don't know what he is. Not human. Not exactly a ghost. A hunger given form. What terrifies me most is not his face, but how he uses the hands of those we love, pulling them like puppets. I remembered my mother's hand that night, slick with sweat, pulled toward the door. The way she looked at me, then beyond me, as though she saw someone else. The backyard had always seemed empty, but moonlight through the fence made bands of shadow like steps. As a child, I used to count them. Some nights there were 14, other nights 13. The 13th was always too wide. My sister's text echoed in my mind. If the door was open, then what had already stepped inside? Something scraped along the hallway wall. Not footsteps. Not mice. Nails dragging across paint, slow and deliberate. I texted my sister again. "Are you sure the door is shut?" No reply. The room pressed close around me. The ceiling stains stared down like a blind eye. The closet hooks bent like fingers. Air thickened until I could barely breathe. Then the sound came. Nails tapping on my bedroom door. "Don't open," I whispered. But another thought pushed louder. "Open it. Let him know you're here. Let the waiting end." I remembered my dreams as a child, walking downstairs with a shadow at my side. Always at the kitchen window, the shadow moved ahead, hand on the latch, waiting for me to nod. My phone buzzed. My sister's reply, I think I closed it. If you're scared, just pull the curtains, lol. Curtains. The ones that never covered the glass completely. Always leaving an eye. A soft tap echoed again. Then another.
Someone's here.
Then another. Nails counting the rhythm of my breath. I froze. My lungs betrayed me, gasping sharply. And from outside my door came another gasp, perfectly in sync with mine. Mom's words echoed in my mind. As long as you go in pairs, you're safe.
So scared.
But what happens if I go alone? It was 12:37. I thought about calling Mom, but I knew what she would say. Don't talk about him. Wait until morning. But morning was so far away. I placed my hand on the closet door. Just a narrow crack to see out.
I don't know
Enough
what that
for me to
thing is.
watch. Enough for someone to watch back. The hallway looked empty. But emptiness was not safety. It was like staring into still water, knowing something waited just beneath. From downstairs came the faint tick of cooling glass. A sound meant to be natural. Tonight, it felt like intent. A reminder of the window. My phone buzzed again. Stop freaking out, bro. There's nothing there. A smiley face. The stretched
grip,
smiley face made me
yet
laugh.
so strong,
Then gag.
was
So
the
I
last
keep
thing I
writing.
felt before it was gone.
If I stop, I fear I'll
They're
rise.
sweaty.
Open the
Trembling
closet
hand.
and walk into the hallway, following the taps that double my heartbeat. I imagine the downstairs, the unlit room, the cold countertop, the curtains sagging, the strip of bare glass like a half-shut eye, the silver backyard, and a figure pressed against the glass, wide, and human eyes staring in as though at a feast. I remember my mother's eyes flickering between me and someone else. Someone I could not see. How does a single rule keep him out? Maybe it isn't the house that restrains him. Maybe it's us. The footsteps beside ours. The hands we hold. The nods that act as keys. It was 12:44. The closet crack glowed faintly. No sound, no shadow. Only a draft of cold air rising from below. One word filled my mind. Open. Not the door. Not the window. But the word itself, spoken aloud. I know you're there, I whispered. The floor shuddered. A knock, faint, like a forehead against the first stair. I pressed back, heart pounding, and thought I saw it. A faint reflection in the crack. Wide eyes staring. I could run, scream, call for help.
What to do?
But the worst part of me kept whispering, let him find you. So I'm writing this from my closet. For now, I think I'm safe. Maybe my sister closed the door after all. Maybe the house is only breathing, but
Never
my
go
shaking
downstairs
has grown
alone after
worse.
midnight.
And the urge to step out, to let him find me, is growing stronger. And if I stop writing, if the crack of the closet glows brighter, it means someone is already standing at my bedroom door. If you're hearing this, remember the rule. Never go downstairs alone after midnight. And if you must, do not look at the window, because once you see those eyes, you will understand. The worst part is not that he is outside. The worst part is that some part of you has wanted to open the door all along.